Hello, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back. Welcome back to another video. So we're going to be doing some live readings today. So welcome. I hope you can hear me okay, everyone. So as I say, we're going to be doing some live readings today. Thank you so much for tuning in, for being here. And just to say, my name is Hannah. If you're new here, my name is Hannah. I'm a Western Practical Astrologer. And yeah, we're going to do some live readings. You can hear. Okay, brilliant. Thank you for your feedback there. And so for live readings today, it is $25 for a 10-minute reading, and then it's $20 for a question. So if anybody is interested in a live reading, let me know. But the thing about this, of course, is it's first come, first serve. So things can fill up pretty quickly. And there will be a cutoff period. And when there is a cutoff period, I'm going to put in the description for the title, I'm going to say that the readings are full. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hi, Piper. Hi, Danielle. Welcome back. Hello, Olga. Hello, Rogue. CMVA. Hi, greetings. Mirando. Hello. And then Cutthroat. Hello. Hello also to Tim. I'm not sure if Tim is here right now, but Tim commented a little while ago. And then Shruti, welcome. So basically what you do, and also I'm doing well, thank you, Piper. I hope you're doing well yourself. So hello, Derek, welcome. Hi, Rebecca. Just hello, everybody. And basically, in order to pay for a reading, you just do it through the super chat. So you make sure that you give me all the correct information. So I'm going to need your time of birth, your date of birth, your location. And then if you have a question, let me know. And then of course, if you want a 10-minute reading, I will also time it as well on my phone for the 10 minutes. So you just basically do it all through super chat. And I'm also going to go over onto my main channel just to check. Okay, good. So let me go over here. So basically, you do it through the super chat option, and the price of readings, it is $20 for a question. If you have a question, yes, it's under the super chat part. It should show at the very bottom. So it's $20 for a question, and it's $25 for a 10-minute reading. And then that will mean that I will show your chart on the screen, and then I will read it and give you, yeah, I will give you a reading. $20 US, yes. US dollars. That's just the easiest options. And the information I would need is your date of birth, time of birth, and your location of birth. So I'm pretty sure that it is all set up so you can transfer the money through, okay, on Super Chat. I did this last time, and where is the Super Chat? Let me see. Is it? I just want to double check if it's set up successfully. It should be at the very bottom right hand side. I will locate this on my phone. Let's see. This is going to be so weird because I'm on here and then I'm also on my YouTube page, and now I'm going onto my phone. 3 versions. Okay, so you see a 1999, but no 25 option. How do you personalize the amount? I wonder why, because last time, so yeah, the way that you pay is down at the very bottom right hand side. There we go. Danielle came through. Yeah, so it's at the bottom right hand side, and then you personalize it. So let me see. Yeah, so basically you go onto stickers, and then let's see. Go. go there, go here. I'll be right with you, Danielle. Okay, so basically what you do is, so there's 1999 version. Okay, I can see what you guys are referring to. I get yes. Okay. Yeah. So on my version, right, I have pounds because that's the currency I use here. But it does appear as if it's working okay for other people. So if anybody, Inumi, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You've also sent through, thank you. If you have any advice for anybody else to maybe help with that. But as I say, you go down to the bottom right hand side and you should be able to customize it or personalize it right there. And if there is any issues or if you have any further concerns about it, I will have a look at it myself and then I'll be able to clarify things next time, because there will always be a next time, especially if this goes well. So I will go ahead with Danielle. We'll do your reading first, and then Inumi, we will do your reading after, and then we've got Piper as well. And then, as I say, I will put in the title whenever the readings are booked. Okay, Danielle, this is exciting. I'm doing my first reading for you. Okay, so July 31st, 1991, 1:19 a.m. Michigan. And then Inumi, the 27th of July. No, June 2001, 10:51 p.m. Netherlands, Colorado. Okay. And then I'll do the last one here. It's just because they can disappear. I think I can still get access to them on the up bar. But as I say, I will let you know if there's anything else I can find to maybe help anyone with who's having issues with it. Piper, you're the 30th of October 2003. Well, Brooke. Okay. Australia. And also, Piper, just please let me know your time of birth as well. I will put a little slot here to remember. Insert time of birth. Let me know that, please. Okay, so Danielle, I'm going to enter in your information right now. And let's do this. Let's do this. How are you all doing, by the way? Are you having a nice Friday? What are you doing over the weekend? Hope you're up to something nice. I was actually at my best friend's wedding there 2 days ago, and it was so lovely. I'm so happy for her. She got married. Just amazing. Okay. Cadillac, Michigan. 31st of July, 1991. Okay. So I'm going to save this particular chart. We're going to be using the whole sign system, just to clarify, by the way, for your readings. Whole sign system. And then I'll also have transits around the outer wheel, just to kind of, see what's going on for you guys. She's a smooth operator. Okay. And Piper, thank you for that. 2:01 p.m. Got it. Got it. Right. Now, Danielle, you are the star right now. Share screen. She's a smooth operator. And we'll switch it to this way. Okay. Lovely. Okay. So, hello everyone who is new. Just to let you know, live readings are happening today. It's a Mercury CAZIMI, by the way. The Sun and Mercury are conjunct Cancer. And cost price for readings is $20 for a question and $25 for a 10-minute reading. And you can do that in the little down bar. So there's a little icon down at the very bottom right. Okay, so Danielle, I'm going to set the timer right now for you, Danielle. Okay, so Danielle, you of course have a Taurus rising. So for you, I would say here that when it comes to your outlook on life, your overall direction, your life direction, these things are very much tied to stability, security, making sure that you have enough. Do you know what, Danielle? We need 2 seconds. The transit's date time is not correct. Okay. I'll start your timer again. Don't worry. We'll start it again. My apologies. It's 2023, Hannah, not 2024. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Lovely. We'll do it again. Yep. Come out of there. Go here. Boom, 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 boom. I do apologize about that, Danielle. Okay, sure. And there we go. Okay, we're on the 30th of June. We're on the correct year. Brilliant. Let's do this again. Right, so starting the timer right now for you, Danielle. Let's go. Okay, so what I was saying there in terms of you having this Taurus rising, Danielle, very much your outlook on life is to do with, okay, stability, security, making sure that you have enough. You have this slow moving sort of presence about you. And you may also come across as quite a calm and quite a supportive person, just very grounding. And people may even think of you as someone who is quite solid. Okay. Now, the other thing about this, of course, is some transits that you're currently experiencing. I mean, you've got Uranus there, which has been in your first house for a few years now. I would say that things have been things have changed quite suddenly for you with respect to your security and your stability. And the interesting thing about this, of course, is you have this Aquarius midheaven. It's actually 0 degrees. This is a critical degree. It's very potent. It's very powerful, very strong. So you have this Aquarius midheaven. And so what this suggests, Danielle, is that your life mission, it is tied to community. It's tied to being a part of something that is much bigger than yourself, right? And maybe there's an element of giving back, or there's an element of helping your fellow man, or, really helping within teams and organizations. And then at the same time, Danielle, you have Saturn there. Saturn is retrograde, conjunct. It's in Aquarius, and it's conjunct the midheaven as well. So with this thrown into it, I think that there's a strong dedication that you bring to your life mission, to the work that you do, okay? And I also think that there's an element here of you perhaps staying for long periods of time within your profession, and possibly even working up the ladder or becoming this member of authority. But at the same time, with the retrograde energy, it could be that this is a process. It can take you a really long time to really get a feel for a particular role or position. Or it could be that there's a lot of fears, actually. There's fears to do with your profession, in that, will you be acknowledged? Will you be recognized? Will the work that you put in be worth it? These kind of things may come up. It could also be suggested that it's taken you a long time to really, figure out, well, what is it that you want to do in terms of your profession, in terms of your life work, your life mission. And you have went through your first Saturn return as well, Danielle. So I can't help but think that your first Saturn return, which happened there from around 2020 until 2023, I can't help but think that that time period really brought up these bigger, like existential sort of questions, or these questions to do with success and status and dedication, etc. So tying this back in with Uranus energy, like I was talking about with Taurus, keep in mind that Uranus is one of the rulers of your midheaven, right? And so with Uranus then moving through that first house for you, I think that this adds further to the questioning or to the sudden realizations, to the epiphanies, flashes of insight, especially with respect to your very stability and foundation, okay? And even looking at your overall outlook, looking at your appearance as well. And what I further want to mention, of course, is, so let's firstly look at Pluto. Okay, so Pluto is retrograde there in Capricorn in your 9th house, and you got a taste of that Pluto energy in your 10th house from like March until May time, or June, should I say. So I think for you, of course, keep in mind Pluto will re-enter Aquarius in 2024, and then finally at the end of 2024 for the next 20 years or so. I think for you, you're already feeling this like transformation coming on. You're already feeling like this huge leap, this shift in consciousness with respect to your very purpose, your life mission, these things. And maybe what it is here, Danielle, is that being a part of the team, a unity, like you feeling like there's a sense of togetherness. I think these things are really, really important to you. I mean, furthering on from this point, you have your moon in Pisces in the 11th house. So I think there is an element of really caring about your communities, caring about your alliances, caring about the groups that you're a part of, being a part of a community or a team where it's like, there's compassion, there's empathy there's sympathy. And at the same time, it could be that often what you've come up against with respect to things like friends and clubs and groups that you're a part of, you've experienced, lack of boundaries, even with Neptune there. Neptune is right on your moon right now, Danielle. And it just stationed retrograde. Like Neptune's turn retrograde today, right on the 30th of June. And as I say, it's right on your moon. So I just think for you, especially for the next few months, Danielle, I think that you're going to really go inward and reflect upon, like, where do I belong? Where do I fit in? Who cares about me? Who are the real ones, right? The real, like, genuine friends, or the people who you can connect with on a much deeper level. And also being able to set these healthy boundaries between you and other people. Keep in mind, Saturn is also there in your 11th house right now, Danielle. So I think there is a big lesson here coming up to do with emotional maturity, setting healthy boundaries within groups, knowing your worth as well. And this right here within itself, Danielle, brings me back to the Taurus rising once more, because, right, Venus is your chart ruler. Venus is going to be such an important key player, or like an important part to look at within your chart, because it is your chart ruler. So you actually have Venus in Virgo. Let me just look at the degrees. Yeah, so it's there in the 5th house, and it's conjunct your Mercury. I would also say it's conjunct your Mars, but the conjunction is quite loose. But still, Venus there in Virgo really does look at, right, okay, you care, like you care so much about, being of service, being helpful, being thoughtful, being gentle, being kind. But the thing about this, of course, is like, you are also going to know where and when it is that you're overextending or overgiving. And there is a part of Virgo where it's like, no, I need to be like compensated for the work that I'm doing here. I need to feel like my worth and the stuff that I'm putting into this is sort of seen and recognized. But you may not necessarily be, what's the word? You may not necessarily be open and very vocal about these things, because Virgo energy can be quite humble, etc. But I do think that for your dedication, basically here, Danielle, I think it is about, okay, having that recognition. And then I also think that you care so much about the little details, and you can really, see what is missing. And I think as well, if we think about this being in the 5th house, you enjoy like you enjoy figuring things out. You enjoy analyzing, you enjoy researching, you enjoy just knowing how things work, knowing how things function, and taking them apart, and even looking at the financial side of Venus and the material side of Venus, you're going to make sure that all the things that you have or own and possess, that they're neat and tidy, they function nicely. And yeah, you're just going to put a lot of thought into all these types of things. And then lastly, if we think also about you having your sun in Leo, right? You're a Leo, by the way, happy birthday to you in the next month or so. I know it's not till the 31st of July. But yeah, with you having your sun in Leo, and then even with Jupiter being there in Leo, I think that you have this like core self that is about, I want to shine. I like what I like. I'm passionate about the things that I enjoy. I'm an enthusiastic person underneath it all. And you may also care deeply, deeply about your family relationships, about the home that you live in, about your emotional security. I think you care deeply about being emotionally supported, for your interests, etc. I mean, for example, if it is that people make you feel weird or strange or unusual for liking the things that you like, I think you're going to take that very, very personally, especially given the fact that Sun is, well, okay, there is a bit of a conjunction still. The conjunction is still quite wide, but the Sun is conjunct that Chiron energy. Chiron is in Leo, and then there's that opposition to Saturn there in Aquarius. And so I think a big part of your Saturn energy, and even with the Leo energy, with the Sun being in Leo, of course, the Sun is tied to purpose. So all of this is to say that I think a big part of your purpose is to do with, really discovering and embracing who you are at your core, right? And not apologizing for who you are. And I think a lot of it even goes back to worth, right? Goes back to your value, goes back to really knowing who you are and embracing that and experiencing this sense of inner confidence. Even if the whole world thinks you're strange or unusual for being you, it's like you have that strength within yourself to know who you are and what you're about. Okay, so let's go back over and stop sharing the screen. So Danielle, that was yours. Yes. Awesome. Of course. No problem. Right. I'm just going to go up a little bit more. So we got Piper and we got Inumi. And I'm just going through to check other people who have sent through. Rebecca, thank you so much. Okay, so I'm just checking time-wise. So it's going to be 10 minutes each. 10, 10, 10. Rebecca, you're 14th of February, 1994, 12:40 a.m. Powder Springs, Georgia. Just to clarify, Inumi, you're going to be next, okay? I'm just trying to get the details of others who have joined so I can keep up. Just makes things a bit easier for me. I sing sometimes. That's a cool name. Oh, it's Jasmine, of course. Okay, Jasmine. Thank you. August 23rd, 1991, 4 p.m. Virginia Beach, USA. Okay, let's go down. And then we also have Ramon, the 27th of February, 1981, 6:38 p.m. Huntington Park, California. Okay. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, sorry. You know me, by the way. Okay, sorry about that. You know me, but thank you for clarifying the pronunciation of your name. And also Danielle, thank you so much. Good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad it resonated. And thank you so much for purchasing this quick reading with me today. Right. So you know me. Let's go. Let's put in your birth information. So it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. And 27th of June 2001 and 10 51. Okay. Other USA, Netherlands, Colorado. Okay, 27th of June 2001, 10:51 p.m. Okay. You know me. Love it. Okay. Okay, so share screen, go here, and over to the sides. Okay, so 30th of June. Okay, you know me. We're gonna put on a timer. Okay, go put on a timer. And let's go. Okay, you know me. So you have here this Aquarius rising. And well, the Aquarius rising is there, of course. But the thing, of course, about this is you also have Neptune retrograde, Uranus retrograde, and then Black Moon Lilith is also there. I would say Black Moon Lilith is conjunct your Uranus in the first house. And then keep in mind that Uranus is one of your chart rulers. So, what can I say about you? You know me. I think that, okay, yes, with the Aquarius rising energy, this suggests that you typically come across as someone who's very much about, okay, being friendly, being really just kind toward other people. Perhaps you can really see whenever someone else is struggling, for example, or you can show this type of support where it is more about communication. It's about being more intellectual, and maybe even just helping people in a way where you can question them. But of course, at the same time, you have Neptune retrograde, first of all, there in the first house. So there is also this big part of your personality that can come across as quite almost spiritual or very intuitive. You can even come across as quite emotional or generous, or like you just want to help people, like really help the vulnerable, help the weak, help the lost. I mean, you may be the type of person who really sees someone, or even an animal, and they're struggling or they're hurt or they're having a hard time, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I feel sorry for that person, or I really show sympathy, I empathize with them. Now, at the same time, keep in mind that there is the Black Moon Lilith energy, and then there's also the Uranus energy. So I would say that your outlook on life can change in a flash. Okay. You could go through these really like intense cycles or these intense patterns, or maybe there isn't even a cycle or a pattern to you. It's just out of the ordinary, out of the blue. Things change, circumstances change, your environment changes. Maybe you even grew up in this type of early environment that was very unpredictable, just very unpredictable. There was a lack of real, stability there. And the thing, now that I mentioned stability, right? You do have the Taurus energy in the fourth house, okay? And that can suggest, okay, a family life, a home life that is more about stability. However, that Venus energy is making that square to Uranus there. So that can actually suggest this kind of erratic, sudden behavior, or these sudden situations that your family got into. maybe thinking about, your family's financial position, or just the overall stability and foundation that occurred within your family situation growing up. Yeah, just a lack of that real, like, feeling centered, feeling grounded. Now, with that being said, of course, we got to keep in mind that the IC, so there's the IC, which is in Gemini. So let me see the degrees. The MC is 5 degrees. So this means the IC is going to be 5 degrees as well. Okay. So with the IC there being in Gemini, I also see this as you perhaps relocating a lot, or your ways of even, being like childlike, playing, enjoying, especially growing up. And I know I'm kind of going back into your childhood quite a lot here. Um, you know me, but this is what I feel like I'm being called toward. So yeah, I think that perhaps there was a lot of change. This is what I'm getting. A lot of change, but yet your Saturn is there, right? Saturn is actually there in Gemini in the 5th house. And so I think that a lot of your Saturn return, which isn't going to be for a few years, okay? I know you're born in 2001, but a lot of your Saturn return is going to look at, okay, where did I not get to be a kid? Where did I not get to just, be curious and be sort of like inquisitive about my environment? Because maybe there was just so much going on with respect to family stuff, or it's that there was a lot going on with respect to, the changing of your environment, or even changing social groups quite a bit. I'm also getting this. I'm getting the difficulty in really connecting socially with people, maybe feeling like an outcast, feeling, like you couldn't really get along with other people, or being really strongly triggered by other people, or other people being strongly triggered by you. And the very reason for why I'm mentioning this is we've got to look at the 11th house, right? So if we think about the 11th house, this is the house that is traditionally ruled by Aquarius within astrology. You've Pluto there, you've Mars there, right? Pluto and Mars both rule Scorpio. You've Chiron there, right? And also Pluto and Mars are retrograde. So we're noticing here a lot of, I would say, a lot of tension, and just these blow-ups, these explosions, these power struggles to do with friendships, communities, teams. I'm just getting this sense of like having to move about so much, or having to switch up where you see yourself, or where you find yourself. And that within itself, well, I would say perhaps having these major because of these things, experiencing these major difficulties with connecting, right? With relating. So when we bring this back to the Gemini energy, of course, that's opposite. I think that the Saturn return is really going to point toward, okay, I feel like I can connect better, or I know how to communicate more, or in a more beneficial way, where I'm heard, where I'm listened to. And yeah, Mercury is also retrograde there as well. It's conjunct Jupiter. So I just can't help but think that communication, connecting, I think community in a way as well, where it's more generalized. I think networking too. I think these sort of themes are really going to come up for you, especially around your Saturn return. And then just to really look at this even more, even further, you're a Cancer, right? Your sun is in Cancer, which I do want to say to you, happy birthday for the 27th of June. I hope you had a lovely birthday. And I really don't mean to go so deep into this reading for you, you know me. But as I say, this is what I feel like I'm being called to. And I hope that's okay. But with you being a Cancerian, I mean, a Cancerian, the purpose of a Cancerian, that kind of that life path, so to speak, is about, okay, I feel seen, I'm supported in this moment, I'm held in this moment. And you actually have the North Node, and it's right there on your sun in Cancer. And then this means that the South Node is in Capricorn over there in the 12th house. So there's a lot to be said about you sort of literally speaking, well, figuratively figuratively speaking, you coming out of your shell, okay, and sort of reintroducing yourself to the world and being able to come to a point of, hey, you know what, like, this is what I'm about, and this is the work that I love to do, and these other routines that I take part in. And I think a big part of this is about developing or establishing a healthy routine, something that is emotionally supportive, something that helps really stabilize you, ground you, center you in a way where you feel, you feel safe, you feel secure. It's very much about feelings with this Cancerian North Node, and then with the sun there too, and then with this energy in the sixth house. I mean, the sixth house is, it's about routine, it's about schedules, it's about health, it's about your occupation. So I just think that for you, I can't help but think that you feel called. Like, of course, the sun is to do with purpose. The North Node is also largely to do with purpose and our life path. So I think a big part of you, if you feels called toward this caregiving supportive role, where you are empathizing with other people. And to be honest with you, when we think about this, if we consider perhaps the types of feelings you've experienced and perhaps the challenges you've experienced, I think that there is this empathy. I think there is this support that you can share, especially because it's like you genuinely want to help and you want to support. Keep in mind, you do have that Aquarius rising as well. Then just to finish off, just quickly, there's only like 10 seconds left, but you do have the moon in Libra too. So, I mean, that moon in Libra energy is about, okay, let's get along, let's cooperate, let's try to see all sides of the situation here. So that is so much to do with your core self. Okay, so you know me. Let me just go back over, go here. Okay. So that was yours, you know me. Thank you. And as I say, when it comes to these readings, they're quick readings. They are quick readings. I obviously can't go into every single part of your chart. I go for, I come at these readings from a place of where I'm feeling called toward. I like to also let my intuition lead the way. And I do have a service where I can do 45-minute readings. There are Saturn return readings, solar return readings, all that good stuff. So yeah, these are 10 minutes long. So you're only getting a little something. Okay, you're getting a flavor. Okay, so next, Piper. Piper, the 30th of October, 2003. Other location. That's 2:01 p.m. Australia. And that is in Musselwell Brook. Okay. 30th of October 2003, Muswell Brook, 2:01 p.m. Oh. Good. That's good. You know me. Good. And thank you so much again. Also, thanks again to you, Danielle. Okay, so I'm gonna. Yeah, got it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all so much. And again, if you're interested in a reading with me, it is $20 for a question and it's $25 for a 10-minute reading. And so I have got Piper next, then I have Rebecca, and I have Jasmine, and then I have Ramon. Ramon. I think that's how you pronounce your name. So yeah, so that would be 10, 20, 30, 40. We're at 6:40 right now. That will take us to around about, so I can take, let's say, two more. I can take 2 more readings, and then that'll be it for this particular live stream. Okay, so let's get into yours, Piper. So this is your chart. So I've shared the screen. I hope you can see that okay. And of course, I think you can, make it a bit bigger and everything on your phone. Okay, so, oh, interesting. So let's go. Timer started. Okay, so Piper, you also have this Aquarius rising. Okay, interesting. Okay, so with you, Piper, of course, you have this Aquarius rising, and Uranus is quite close to that ascendant of yours. In fact, your ascendant is 29 degrees. This is an anaretic degree. I always struggle to say that. But yes, it's at the final degree within this sign. So, this could really look like you being sort of learning a lot of these sort of lessons to do with community togetherness, being an innovator, and being original, being this outside of the box thinker. Of course, also Uranus is there quite close to the ascendant. And so this can suggest that you march to the beat of your own drum, okay? You are quite rebellious. You do not like being told what to do. You're someone who prefers to think for yourself. Now, with the same token, Uranus is retrograde. So it could be that you really do question, you question trends, and you question society, you question the status quo, you question and question, especially thinking about here how you question what is the norm. And when everybody else is going off in their own sort of direction, their own path, you're like, I'm just gonna go the other way, or I'm going to chill back here and kind of really assess the situation, and I'm going to really see what works well for me. And then also there is this sharing of knowledge, and there is this sharing of information when it comes to you. And the reason why I'm also saying this, Aquarius energy can look at this. Of course, Aquarius energy can very much be about, okay, I'm going to share all the knowledge I know with the world. Sagittarius can be like this too. But Aquarius is just like, yeah, I have all this stuff I want to say. I have all this information that's in my brain, and all these ideas and these concepts and these theories. And this is what I learned from this person. And then it's connected to this person, etc., etc. So yeah, you have all that going on for you, especially with respect to how you approach life, thinking about your overall identity, your appearance, etc. Which, by the way, you may change up your appearance quite suddenly, okay, with Uranus there on your ascendant. But still, the other reason for why I just said all that was because so you're Scorpio, okay? So you have your sun in Scorpio, and it's also conjunct Mercury there in Scorpio, and these planets are in your 10th house. So what this suggests to me is that you are someone, okay, on one hand, you're going to be very careful and calculated about the types of information that you share with the public, okay? The types of things that you really let people in on, thinking about your social media profiles, etc. You're going to be quite cautious about what you say, or deliberate, okay? But on the other hand, I also see this as you, exposing the truth, okay? I see this as you being a truth seeker, a truth teller. I see this as you being able to call out anything that maybe is quite shady. And you could also connect this in with your professional life, in terms of, okay, the type of occupation, or the type of profession rather, you wish to choose in life. It's going to be tied to, okay, let's actually do the research. Let's actually dig deep, and let's investigate, and let's see what's hidden, what isn't being said. Okay, that's a big Scorpio thing. What isn't being said? Remember all the chitter chatter and all this stuff that people just like to talking about. You come along and you say, I'm going to pick that apart, and I'm going to pull things together that other people are not noticing, that they're not seeing, and I'm going to share that. or I'm going to keep it to myself until the most correct time. So the time being where it's like, okay, this is the time, because it's actually going to make me get further ahead. It's going to make me maybe progress in some way, shape, or form. So it could quite literally be here that your professional life, your public image, is tied to research and investigation. And then also, let's throw into the mix here Venus. Okay, so Venus is there with your midheaven, also in Scorpio, in the 10th there. So, okay, with Venus here, I think there is this whole other layer where it's like, okay, about beauty and desire and passion and intimacy, and even possibly breaking the norms when it comes to things like beauty standards or fashion or art. And maybe like there is this kind of I kind of feel I'm getting the like more darker elements in that. I'm thinking of Lana Del Rey, like just this deep, this richness, this yeah, like this depth to you, and this depth to your style, and that that is shown, right? That deeper, perhaps quite intense style or fashion or beauty, it's seen it's seen amongst the public. Okay, of course the midheaven is that very public part of your chart. Okay, and then also want to point toward is, so your moon there is in Capricorn, and I would say that with your moon being Capricorn, of course, it's in the 12th house, it's also conjunct Chiron. I would say that yeah, you know what I was saying about the private stuff? You really do care about how you're seen, okay? The things that are shown out there in everyday life, everyday society. It's like you are going to really be cautious and reserved and think about, okay, how is this going to impact me? How is this going to make me appear and even feel? And speaking of feelings, you have you have very deep feelings, okay? Even of Mars, right? So think about Mars. Mars is there in Pisces. Mars is the dispositor, one of the dispositors of all that Scorpio energy for you, okay? So with Mars being in Pisces, you, yeah, very, very emotional, very deep and mysterious, highly mysterious. And then also this big part of you that really enjoys just escaping. Okay, escaping into a good book, just escaping from the world and being in solitude, being in your own. And of course, that also makes sense because you've got the moon there in the 12th house. Of course, the 12th house is the house that Pisces traditionally rules in astrology. So I do think that there is a big part of this where you do need that time to properly like recharge, to refuel your batteries, so to speak. And you may even be able to spend pretty long periods of time alone, okay? Because this is Capricorn energy. Now, with the same token, okay, this may be quite a sensitive thing that I'm about to say here, but it could be that when it comes to your emotions, you're thinking about you going into solitude and processing your emotions. Maybe that's what you need. You need that time to properly process on your own, away from people. But when you're in that space, I also can't help but think that a lot of really heavy, like painful stuff can come up. And that is where I want to say here to you, Piper, and I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong in saying this, but I feel like I'm being called to say this. This is where I want to say to you, just to remind you that there are people who can support, okay? And the reason why I'm saying this, because Chiron is also there. It's opposite Saturn, retrograde in Cancer. Now, of course, your first Saturn return isn't going to be for a very long time. But it is, yeah, Chiron is the to do with our wounds. It can look at our pain, our rejections. So with that, then opposing that Saturn energy, and then even with Ceres being there, I mean, Ceres is very much about, okay, you know, there's a big part of Ceres that is tied to caregiving and nurturing as well, like the moon. So yeah, with the Saturn energy and Chiron energy and Cancer in the house to do with health, this is why I'm saying, okay, your emotions. So whenever you are going through something, and of course, I don't know you personally, I don't know your personal experience, but I just feel like it is about being able to reach out for help or being able to ask for some type of support or care. And you know what? It could very well be that your Saturn return really like brings up a lot of this stuff for you, Piper. Okay. And you mature greatly. You become very wise. You become incredibly wise when it comes to any emotional blockages, anything that is too difficult to address in terms of, you know, what's happening within. Yeah, you become very wise and you learn these mighty lifelong lessons, and you may even actually enter into these roles, these professions where it's like you are helping people who who need some type of advice or assistance, or they need that support. So yeah, just keep that in mind when it comes to the Saturn Capricorn energy. Just to finish off there, yeah, with the Saturn Capricorn energy, it is about, okay, more about the long haul. Okay. Okay, so we'll stop showing that one. So Piper, I just want to see, because I always like to see the responses. Struggle sometimes. Oh, okay. Well, Piper, yeah, as I say, I feel like I was really called to say those things, and I wish you all the very best, and I really hope that you find this to be helpful. You're a volunteer firefighter. You love helping people. Incredible, incredible. Okay, so right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just checking up the list. So the next person is Rebecca. Rebecca, you're next on the list. And I just want to say here, Natalie, you there, Natalie? You said that you can do the full $25. It won't go for some reason. See, that's the thing. There's only two options here. There are only two options. It's, you know what I mean? You have to understand that this is just the way it is. It's like there are the two options, and I can't really do anything else if not for those two options. So I hope you understand. And then IMK, I am IKM SUNDA. Okay, so you have sent $20. So I'm assuming you have a question. And then Henrik, you sent 100 MRL. Let me just double check. No, let me BRL. BRL. What is BRL? Let me look at Google. Okay, so you have a question. Okay, got that. All right, Henrik. It's a question, and it's the 14th of June, 1999. Let me see. Okay. Also, I feel the need to say this. I do not give readings to people who are under 18. Brazil. Okay. If I need any more information from you, Henrik, I will ask. Okay. Yes. So next one is Rebecca. Then we have Jasmine. Then we have Ramon. And then what we're going to do is moving on to, I believe, I'm not sure. Can you please, IKM, you've sent $20, and I'm not really sure what your question is here. If you have an actual question for me, let me know. IKMS understood. Okay. And then Henrik, you'll be after. So, Natalie, you said you sent $25? Let me have a look. Because Natalie, oh, actually, let me see. I'll show this message. So you sent $4.99. And 2 payments. Oh, okay. Let me have a look. Thank you. Let me have a look here. I'll have a look at my other version of this. Should come up. So sorry about that, Natalie. We'll see. Okay. I gotcha. Find ya. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so with Natalie having paid, I'm going to now edit it where the readings today are now closed. Okay, I'm going to edit that. But firstly, so the 22nd of September, Natalie, 1999. Tulsa, okay. 12:11 p.m. I do apologize again, Natalie. I didn't see that one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this at the very top. And then I'm going to say that the readings are full. Readings fully booked. Save. Okay. So readings are fully booked, and I just want to ask before. So Rebecca, you're next. Gladys, is it Gladys? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. So you sent here $4.99. No, sorry, I showed this the wrong info there. So yeah. Oh no, Elijah, I'm so sorry. So did you also send a different payment, or is it the $4.99 that you're? Anyway, so I'll come back. I will come back to that. I really want to get on to Rebecca's now. Okay, no problem, Natalie. And again, sorry about that. Okay, Rebecca, let's go. Rebecca, 14th of February. 1994 here. 12:40 a.m. Okay, USA. Powder Springs, Georgia. 18th of February 1994. Midnight, okay. 12:40 a.m. 1994. Continue. Natalie. Yes, I have you IKM S understood. So basically, I'm pretty sure I've got everybody. I think I've got everybody in. I've got everybody wrote down for this particular live stream. And just for you, Clarice, you sent $4.99. So it's either $20 for a question or it's $25 for 10 minutes. But yeah, so those are the two options. And then anybody else who perhaps missed today, I know for you, Elijah, I know that you said there about missing this particular round. So I can go, let me know if you want me to go live next Friday. So I could go live next Friday. We can do another round of this, or we can wait for another couple of weeks. let me know what you think. Right. So, Rebecca. No, Natalie. No. Where am I? Rebecca. Yes, Rebecca. Rebecca. Okay. Rebecca. Sure. Here we go. Okay, someone said it'd be good for next Friday. Okay, thanks for that feedback. All right, Rebecca, let's go. Right, I'm setting the timer now. And I just want to say quickly, thank you all so much for your patience. It obviously takes me a little while to get everything, from chart to chart. So I should probably get on with this. But thank you for your patience. Okay, Rebecca, timer is on. So, Rebecca, you have this Scorpio energy going on in your first house. All right. So, you have a lot of Scorpio energy. Your rising sign is Scorpio. You've got Jupiter there, which is conjunct the rising. You've also got Pluto there in home in Scorpio in the first house. And it's also on your North Node. And then you also have Juno there in Scorpio. Okay. So, do you know what? For this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to really think about the North Node being here in this sign because of course, with the North Node being Scorpio, this means that your South Node then is in Taurus in the 7th house. So you're kind of coming from this place, right, where you throughout your life have very much looked at your relationships through this way of providing support, okay, or looking at feeling secure and feeling really stable. But the thing is that perhaps what you've often come up against is staying in these same sort of patterns, staying in these stagnant situations where maybe it becomes too familiar or it becomes too of the same. Right? It's like there's just a lot of sameness, and perhaps it can even be somewhat challenging to fully sort of let go of particular relationships. And by relationships, I'm not just talking about, lovers or partners, I'm also talking about friends. These people who are, you're quite close to. I'm even thinking about and talking about business partners. I'm talking about relatives. So yeah, it could be that there are these sort of really stagnant ways that you get caught up in, or it's that you do, yes, you're seeking that security and you do provide that security within your relationships. But I just think that the North Node in Scorpio is looking at transformation. I think it's looking at, okay, how can you balance out this energy with the South Node being in Taurus? How can you balance that out with a little bit of me, okay? A bit of your identity, okay? Thinking about how you can grow, thinking about how you can flourish, how you can literally transform. Of course, the thing about this too is Jupiter is right there on your ascendant. And this looks at expansion, right? Jupiter looks at expansion and growth and expanding your horizons, so to speak, broadening your horizons. So doing so, when it comes to your identity, doing so when it comes to your passions, the things that you are really deeply interested in, right? And thinking about, higher learning and how when it comes to higher knowledge and higher learning, you are all in. It's like all or nothing with Scorpio. So yeah, you can go to the depths with the things that you discover, with the things that you explore, the things that you really want to learn about. So with the North Node being in Scorpio, I just think that a big part of your life path, a big part of your destiny, so to speak, is about, okay, I am going to do all of the investigating. I'm going to do all that research, and I'm going to see what it is that I need at my core here. And at the same time, being able to, of course, look at both parts of this where it's like, okay, you can focus a lot on your life path and your personal identity, but you can also attend to your relationships and look at the gifts that you have. Actually look at those real gifts that you have to do with business, to do with collaborating, to do with agreements and making those deals. You can be such a force, like a powerful force when it comes to business, let's just say, Rebecca. And maybe you are well respected for your gifts, for your skills. And you know what? Maybe some of your gifts or skills are strongly tied to finances, or even thinking about how you can best support other people in a business matter, where you're able just to make these really well thought out decisions, and you can even come up with amazing, solutions to problems. Now, with that in mind, you're an Aquarius, right? So your sun is an Aquarius, and your Mars is actually also there in Aquarius, and Mars is one of your chart rulers. So that's something, right? One of your chart rulers, and of course, it is the one of the dispositors of all of that Scorpio energy for you. So I would say that you're such. So we talk about being this mighty force, so to speak. I think that you can be this mighty force, this powerful force, even when it comes to home, family, property. Like maybe a part of your literal, profession is to do with property management, or it's to do with being a leader in some way with respect to housing, or with respect to, land, or even looking at how you can best support people within the home. You coming at things from a place of, right, this is my family and these are the people that I care about. Or it could be that your work or your profession is more so about going into other people's families. It's about, okay, let's try to look at the bigger picture within this family dynamic. And so basically all of this is to say here, Rebecca, that you can bring these leadership qualities, okay? These leadership qualities where you can really say, what isn't fair here? What's not working here? What are these people trying to communicate? What are they trying to say? And again, this could be where it's like, okay, this is about your professional life, but it could be as well that there's a big part of this where you manage family members, or you can kind of observe. Okay, Aquarius energy can observe and see the bigger picture in ways that many people can't, but you can make all those connections. And then when you bring the truth, my goodness, you're going to bring the truth, and you're going to be very direct about what you see. But the thing is that what you bring and what you see and what you share, these things are going to change the system, how things work, how things function, how things are done. You can be this type of person who can shake things up. And even if we were to look at this fourth house through the lens of your own living situation, where you wish to set down roots, etc. I mean, it could be that this has been quite a challenge for you throughout your life. Maybe it has been very changeable, quite sudden, quite unpredictable. Okay, there is that. You also have your IC there in Aquarius. But perhaps there's also quite an assertive quality to this, where it's like, right, okay, I'm going to be independent. I'm going to be a leader. And let's look also at how you have an Aries moon, right? So you have this Aries moon energy. And so, yeah, your emotional world is that of, okay, I'm independent and I lead and direct my own life. If we even think about Scorpio energy in the first, moon in Aries there in the sixth, sun in Aquarius, all of these signs, let me just say here, Rebecca, are about independence. These signs do not do not really put up with other people telling them what to do or trying to be these types of authorities over them. It's very much about, okay, this is the path I'm on, this is the direction I'm headed in. And as well, Mars then is the ruler of your sixth house. Well, it's the dispositor of your moon, right? And then the moon being in the sixth house, of course, the sixth house is tied to your occupation. It's tied to the services that we provide. It's tied to our daily routines. So I can't help but think that this is, pointing toward how you are this leadership person within your work. Okay, thinking about your role, your position, and then also bringing that part of you to your family life. Maybe it can even be hard to sort of fully switch off, or to separate yourself from the mission that you're on, the goals that you're sort of moving toward and going after. But yeah, I just get this sense of independence, leadership overall. And I also want to say that you have this Pisces stellium, right? You have your Saturn and Pisces. You're going through your first Saturn return. I just want to say that. But you've got your Venus there. Of course, Venus is exalted in Pisces too. Mercury retrograde is there. Pallas is there. So you've got this Pisces stellium in the fifth house. So I would also want to just say here, Rebecca, that you are very creative. You're very imaginative. Maybe you love poetry, you love photography, you love film, you love writing, especially song, writing songs, lyrics, thinking even about writing your own sort of script or plays. And I also think that when it comes to your creativity overall, you really do lose yourself. Now, at the same time, perhaps, especially growing up, there were these limitations, right? These blockages to do with your creativity, or to do with fun and play and connecting with your inner child. So your Saturn return, which again, like I'm saying, you're experiencing this right now, Rebecca, your Saturn return is going to bring up these things. It's going to look at, okay, you are going to change. You're going to really grow and blossom with respect to your creativity, with respect to your inner child, and just really letting that out, really letting out your inner child, or embracing your creativity. Okay, so Rebecca, the timer is off. That was yours. Okay. Okay, I just want to say here, can people please stop sending me money? Because the readings are booked. Okay, we're booked. But we are moving on to Jasmine. And then for you, let me just say here. So IMK, you said you just sent the second payment. Want to get over there. You sent a super stick for 20, super chat for 5. Oh, so okay. So for you, Natalie, that happened as well. Okay, interesting. Right. So that's why they're coming in like separates. Okay. I'm going to try and have a little look at those things for next time. Okay, so basically we're doing 10-minute readings for everybody. Okay, that's what's happening, because Henrik, you sent a little extra there, so that's going to bring yours up to the $25 mark. Same for you, MK. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. We have 5 left. Yeah. And the next is Jasmine. Jasmine. 23rd of August. 91. Now, like I said, these readings are 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And so you're not going to get everything in, right? You're not going to get the full depth, the full detail, because it's 10-minute readings. Virginia Beach. Let's see. Let's go up here. In Virginia. Okay. 4 o'clock, 23rd of August, 1991, Virginia Beach, in Virginia, USA. Jasmine. So we're fully booked for this one. Okay, just to let you know, we are fully booked. And if anybody else wants to say in the chat to make people aware, we're fully booked tonight. But I may come back on next Friday, because I have had a few people saying about coming on next Friday. So we have Jasmine next, then we have Ramon, then we have Natalie, and then we have IKM, and then Henrik. And that's us for tonight. Right, so let me just share my screen with you. So Jasmine. Do you know what? I'll type it in here. We are fully booked tonight. Thank you. There we go. Right. Okay, Jasmine. Right, we're setting the timer for yours. Okay, so Jasmine, let's start off by saying that you have a Sagittarius rising, okay? So, Sagittarius rising, suggesting here that when it comes to your overall approach to life, when it comes to your life path, you are someone who wishes to explore, you're someone who wishes to learn more. Perhaps travel is a big part of your life, traveling to different places, different countries, different destinations, and really just like immersing, is that the term, immersing yourself into a culture, into a new way of life. And the thing is, of course, is that Jupiter, so Jupiter would be your chart ruler, Jupiter that is there in Leo, okay? So it's in the ninth house, and this adds this big flavor of enthusiasm, passion, aliveness, really looking at, okay, I am obsessed with this place, or my heart belongs here. This is a place where I can properly just expand, and I feel a lot of passion. I come alive, right? And I mean this with respect to certain destinations that truly capture your heart. Now, if we also move this toward higher learning subjects, right? If we think about the ninth house through this lens of higher education, philosophy, religion, even thinking about psychology, I think to a degree, I think that whenever you find a particular higher educational topic or subject that you're truly like passionate about, you're going to be fixed on it. You're going to be really creative about it. You're going to come up with all of these like amazing ideas to do with it. And you know what? It could even be that literally growing up, thinking about your higher education, the type of higher education you received, perhaps it involved, like performing or drama or teaching or mentoring, or it involved something that was quite like wow factor, or even looking at um, being a manager or being this real entertainer, but being an entertainer where you are in charge or where you are a type of leader. And then even if we think about the teaching side of it, okay, there's this type of leadership role there involved. But yeah, basically all of this is to say that there's just there's such an interest in really growing with respect to your education, growing when it comes to just learning overall and travel and experiencing the world. Jupiter there, Sagittarius as well, it's about experience. And that experience, of course, can be um, good or bad, in that, okay, there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, there's going to be situations that may not work out very well, but you're somehow going to manage to see the bigger picture, right? You're going to be able to look at the positive side of things a lot of the time. Now, with that being said, let's also consider how Mercury is retrograde in Leo there. Venus is also retrograde in Leo there. Okay. Venus is actually, let me just look in a little bit. Venus is at 28 degrees. Yeah, it's at 28 degrees there. And then the Mercury energy is at 26 degrees. Okay, so there's something very important that I want to say about this in just a moment. But I think that with this energy, this can imply that you really need that time to properly just like process your experiences, to properly, process, okay, what have I learned? What have I learned from this program? What have I learned from this training that I'm doing? What have I learned from this sort of more out there experience where it's maybe further away from home. Okay. And properly just taking your time to let information process, to let it sit with you. And I think that whenever you do go to share, whenever you do go to communicate, it can come out from this, or it can be expressed, it can be shared from this place of, I understand this. Like, I understand what I'm saying. I really understand, the message, the meaning behind this thing that I'm communicating. Even Mercury there is conjunct Jupiter. Now, I'd also say that you can be very expressive as a person, really expressive with your words. And I think you can also have a very creative mind. You can visualize things very well. Maybe the things that you visualize are quite colorful. But the thing is, this is the important thing that I wanted to talk about. Venus. See, Venus this year, it is going to station retrograde from the 22nd of July. And guess what degree it's going to start at? It's going to start from 28 degrees. So it's going to be right there on your Venus retrograde. So I would say mark your calendars here, Jasmine. Okay, mark your calendars from around the 22nd of July and even all the way up to the 3rd of September. And even thinking about just this Venus energy from, so Venus entered Leo from the 5th of June. It will be there until the 8th of October. So this time period right here for you, I just think is going to bring up so much meaning to do with the bigger picture. Even thinking about the bigger picture with respect to things like your worth, your finances, your relationships, how it is that you feel loved, how it is that you feel secure. I think this Venus retrograde is going to be so profound for you because it's right there at the same degree that you have Venus retrograde in Leo. And maybe it's going to bring up just so much of these like inner realizations about, right, this is where I'm supposed to go, or this is what I'm supposed to do. But of course, you're still going to reflect. You're still going to take your time. You're still going to really see, right, okay, like, how does this sit with me? How does this sit with my value system? How does this sit with my heart? And so I think in this way, yeah, I think a lot of lessons will come up for you this particular Venus retrograde, which of course I could say more about it, but this is just 10 minutes and I need to move on to another part of it where you're a Virgo, okay? Your sun is in Virgo, it's at 0 degrees. 0 degrees is a very potent degree. So you have this Virgo sun energy in the 10th house. So I think that a big part of your purpose, a big part of your life mission is that of being of service. And it's even conjunct that Venus energy. It's in a different sign, yes, but there's still this conjunction where I do think that, when it comes to your life mission, I think that it is about, okay, this is my craft. This is my way of really perfecting things. These are the services that I provide. But there's always going to be this quality of like aliveness and passion and eagerness and enthusiasm, and even perhaps coming across as just very confident in yourself. But of course, at the same time, with that Venus retrograde, maybe there's a sense of like, okay, this is about inner confidence, this is about inner knowing. And maybe even the Venus retrograde this year is going to point toward and highlight your confidence. Any sort of difficulties that you have with respect to maybe believing in yourself. Okay, the sun is there in Virgo, so any difficulties you have in, when it comes to believing in yourself, believing in your worth, believing in your value, I think the Venus retrograde is going to come along and it's going to be like, do you see this? Do you see this? Can you overcome this? Are you going to learn from this? And then I also want to mention as well, of course, that you have your Mars in Virgo. Okay, so your Mars is in Virgo in the 10th house. And so I would say with this that, yeah, this points toward, okay, you taking charge within your profession, you being that leader, but doing so in a way where it's like you can see anything that isn't working. You can analyze and assess, right? Okay, that needs to change, that needs to change, that needs to be improved. And then keep in mind as well, you're going to go through your Mars return. Okay, Mars is going to enter Virgo from the 10th of July up until the 27th of August or so. So yeah, your Mars return, I think, is going to really bring up your goals, okay, what it is that you want with respect to your life mission. And moving along, another thing would be you have this Capricorn stellium. Your North Node is actually in Capricorn there as well. So that's in the 2nd house. So I think that a big part of your life mission. I think a big part of your path is about, okay, taking responsibility when it comes to your resources, when it comes to your skills, your talents, when it comes to your self-worth. And then lastly, I just want to say, because we are down to the last 30 seconds, you have your moon in Aquarius there. Okay. So that moon in Aquarius energy really points to how your inner world is that of originality. Your inner world is more so about, okay, this is what I believe, this is what I think. I am independent, I am an individual. And I march to the beat of my own drum. And I do think as well that there is this inner part of you that's quite humanitarian. So, you may really, really care about other people in terms of what they need, especially whenever you become really, really close. Okay, so Jasmine, that was yours. Hi again, Danielle. So Jasmine, you said that's very accurate, very reflective person. You journal a lot. Healing during building confidence. Yeah. Well, yeah, I hope the Venus retrograde does indeed help you very much so. Jasmine, thank you so much. Okay. So let's move on to Ramon. Ramon. 27th of February, 1981. Let's go to 6:38 p.m. USA. Huntington Park in California. Okay. 27th of February, 1981, 6:38 p.m. Huntington Park, California. Go. Ramon. Like I said, it's 10-minute reading. It's 10 minutes. So yeah, if you're interested in a more detailed, more in-depth reading, you can always visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. I offer my services there. And there's other types of services like solar returns and Saturn returns. Okay, so we have 4 left. Ramon. Just go here. Okay, Ramon. Let's set the timer. Let me just take a wee drink of water. Okay, Ramon. So, Ramon, you have this Virgo rising. And so therefore, when it comes to your overall approach to life, you are someone who is very analytical, methodical. You make sure that things are well prepared, well planned out. There's a lot of thought. There's a lot of thought that goes into the ways in which you move. And you may be even quite reserved or quite intentional about how you come across. And you can live in your head quite a bit. Virgo risings tend to really be quite up in their head. Okay. Mercury is of course, your chart ruler. So yeah, getting caught up in your mind, and analyzing and overthinking and worrying and possibly stressing out about a lot of stuff. But then this is also where we got to throw into the mix your chart ruler, which is Mercury, and that's in Aquarius. Okay. And it's actually retrograde there in your chart. Now, I do just want to say, I understand that you were born in 1981. So I do think when it comes to your chart as well, it's good to keep in mind secondary progressions. So I just want to say that. But still, Mercury there, retrograde in Aquarius, can highlight just how much you overthink. Okay. This could be where you can look at the smallest of things and make it out to be so much bigger than what it is, because you're looking at the bigger meaning. You're looking at, all of the dots that are connected to that thing. Now, of course, this can also look at how gifted you can be at drawing from, these connections and even bringing these connections to the work that you do, maybe a part of your occupation, a part of your work is that of, real research, real investigating. But doing so because it's like these are the connections, and this is how, for example, such research can help other people, helping within your communities, helping within your teams, being a team player, being this substantial, employee. And so, yeah, I do think that that Mercury retrograde energy can be very beneficial and helpful, especially when it comes to supporting others. But at the same time, I also see this as you finding it quite difficult to switch off, okay, to silence the mind, to be able to properly relax. And the thing as well is that the sixth house rules our health. So when it comes to your health, it could be that there are certain like connections or conclusions you reach that may seem a bit strange or weird or unusual to other people, but to you it's like no, 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 like this is what I think and this is what I believe and this is what I know. But you see, yes, I do think that there's a part of this where it's like, yes, you can stay true to your beliefs and stay true to even your values. I think to an extent, of course, you've got Venus there in Aquarius too. But it could also be where you're so just caught up in your own sort of mental state, you're in your own sort of world, okay? Mercury retrograde, internalizing everything, that it can be really hard for you to see, what is actually clear, what is actually just grounded and real and obvious. And this within itself also brings me to the fact that you're a Pisces, okay? So your sun is in Pisces, your Mars is also in Pisces there. So I do think that there is this part to your personality, the side to your personality that can get sort of lost in a dream, lost in a fantasy, lost in the make believe, so to speak, where it's like, oh, I'm going to visualize this, I'm going to dream about this. Maybe this is the way this relationship is going to go, or this is the way that this business partnership is going to turn out. So the thing is that the seventh house can often look at the far removed parts of our personality. It can look at, the things that we don't see within ourselves. And I think that especially when it comes to Virgo rising, this can be particularly challenging, okay, because Pisces is so mysterious. In my view, Pisces is probably the most mysterious sign out of all the signs. So I think that there can be this sort of untouchable sort of reaching out quality, but not being able to hold it in your hand, not being able to properly understand, what is being said, what is being articulated, and and so I think that kind of difficulty in being able to make things more concrete and realistic, that can be challenging, okay? And so maybe something you've had to kind of learn throughout your life is how to bring yourself back to center, okay? How to bring yourself to a point of like, what's real here? What evidence do I have when it comes to this relationship? What evidence do I have when it comes to this situation? Um, I'm working on those things. You're gradually working on those things. And then the thing about this too, Ramon, is Saturn is there and it's in your seventh house. And over the next 3 years or so, it's going to eventually make that conjunction to your sun and your Mars. And I think this is going to add this big layer of really you seeing, right, what are you projecting? What are the delusions? What is it that's not very clear? I think this could be a really beneficial time for you, especially with the Neptune energy over the past few years from like 2011 or so. With that Neptune energy in Pisces from that time period, it has just been bringing up, projection after projection, having to really see, what is concrete in this situation, and then often feeling like, oh, well, I got that wrong, or that was clearly a mistake. So anyway, Saturn moving along the same path, I think is going to help assist you in a lot of ways to be somewhat more grounded or to be somewhat more emotionally mature or present. And that can be so even beneficial and rewarding, even if we were to think about, again, going back to the Aquarius energy when it comes to your health as well, okay, keeping in mind that Mercury there in Aquarius looks at, okay, your mind. So yeah, I think big lessons here to do with your health, especially your mental well-being then with Saturn moving throughout Pisces. Okay, also I want to mention, of course, Venus is there in Aquarius. So I would say that Venus here, you may really love jobs and routines and schedules where you get to make the plan, you get to make the schedule. or you don't necessarily have to be watched over, by some boss or authority. Now, that's not to say that you can't be part of roles where there is a boss or a manager. Maybe you can actually work really well as part of a unit, but you still prefer, to be trusted enough, to be able to work on your own. And again, I think that there is this desire to do something that you truly love. And especially thinking about the sixth house with Aquarius, there it could be that you gravitate toward roles where, they involve innovation, inventing, community, science, medicine, even thinking about technology, computers. Yeah, these types of things may be really interesting to you, even thinking about space as well. Yeah, so perhaps you enjoy these types of positions, or positions that involve these types of things. Now, another thing I want to mention with you, Ramon, is you have your moon in Sagittarius, right? And it's conjunct Neptune as well. And it's in the fourth house. So you really are a free spirit. I mean, you've got your sun in Pisces, you've got your moon in Sagittarius. I mean, it's almost like you're untouchable. It's, the minute someone tries to have you sort of figured out, even with the Aquarius energy mixed in, the minute someone tries to have you figured out, you're like, no, I'm already on to the next thing. And it almost feels as if no one really knows what you're going to do next. Even Uranus there, which is one of the rulers of your sixth house, Uranus is there in Sagittarius. So yeah, I just think that there is this unpredictability to you. And there's also this free spirit when it comes to you. Okay, your core self is that of like, I need to be free. I need to roam. And you may be really spiritual or have certain spiritual practices that you admire so much that you follow. It's like you don't just you don't just talk the talk. You walk the walk. Okay, you don't just preach about things. It's also about, okay, well, I'm going to implement these things into my being, so to speak, this type of stuff. Though the last thing I want to say, of course, is yes, okay, there is this part of you where it's like, right, there's freedom, there's growth there's the ability to move and to flow. Okay, Pisces energy mixed into that as well. Whilst there is that whole part to you, I also think there's another part to you, okay, with Saturn and Jupiter retrograde in Libra in the second house, even Pluto there. I think that you can have this real, seriousness when it comes to your resources, when it comes to your security. I think that you're someone who has learned so many valuable, like impossibly very hard lessons to do with providing for yourself. Okay. And I do get as well that you've went through your first Saturn return. So perhaps your first Saturn return brought up so much to do with value, your self-worth, your skills, and even looking at how your skills and your talents can be tied to that of, being cooperative or being diplomatic. Okay, so that's the timer. That is you, Ramon. Oh, interesting. Thank you for your feedback. Yeah, you said interesting. Well, okay, cool. Thank you for your feedback. And of course, no problem. Thank you so much for purchasing today. Okay, so Natalie, you're next. Let's see, 22nd of September 1999 and 12:11 p.m. Now, like I said, these readings are only 10 minutes long, and there's, it's almost like I really want to try and get little snippets of what I see, and I do really go by what I'm being called to do intuitively, But yeah, you're not getting the bigger picture. Let's just say that. Natalie, can you maybe help me with your birth location, please? So you said Tulsa and OK. What does OK stand for? Is that, I'm not sure what that stands for. Oh, Oklahoma? Is that Oklahoma? Let me see. Aha. Yeah, must be. 22nd of September 1999, Oklahoma, 12:11 p.m. Excuse me. Is Natalie still here? Are you still here, Natalie, for your reading? Of course, you can still. I'll still do it, and then you can catch up on it anyway. That's the thing. If you do, if you pay for a reading and it's taken quite a while, you can always catch up on the replays. It'll be there. It'll be there for you. Okay. So, Natalie, here we go. Okay, go set the timer. Go. Okay, Natalie. All right. So, what we notice here, Natalie, is you do have this Scorpio rising, and it is at 29 degrees. This is an anaretic degree. It's quite a critical degree. It's the last degree within the sign. So, Natalie, it could be here that you feel like you have seen it all, right? It could be where you feel like anything that anybody tells you in terms of maybe a difficulty, a struggle, a trauma, you're like, yep, you're not shocking me. You're not shocking me. Like, I get it. I can see, where you're coming from, or I'm trying to understand. I'm showing you empathy. I'm showing you compassion. But of course, with Scorpio energy, it's not about pitying others, and it's not about being pitied on. It's also about strength, in terms of, okay, I'm going to transform through this experience. And I also think there's a lot of emotional resilience. That's what I mean by strength, by the way. It's just this resilience when it comes to difficulty and struggle in life. And yeah, trying to come to a place of like, I overcome that. Now, of course, still, that's not to say that certain situations are easy. And it's also about acknowledging difficulty and pain and hardship and so on. And we even notice for you, Natalie, you've got Chiron there. It's in Sagittarius in the second house. It's also conjunct your ascendant. So I would say with the Chiron energy, yeah, this could look at wounds, real wounds to do with your beliefs, to do with guidance, to do with direction. Let's also keep in mind that so if we were to think about the secondary progressed ascendant, of course, that is going to move throughout your life. That eventually would have started to conjunct that Chiron energy and then move throughout your second house. And the thing is but with your second house, not only do you have Chiron there, you also have Pluto there. You've got Black Moon Lilith. You've got Mars. Mars is Mars and Pluto are both your chart rulers. Okay. So what am I getting at here? I think that a lot of your difficulties in life have been tied to your security, okay? Feeling safe, feeling protected, feeling secure. Looking at your very stability and how such things may have been shaken up quite a bit in ways where it was like you were forced to go through something, or it's that you felt quite well. I don't mean to go there, but I'm going to go there. But and I say this with sensitivity, but it could be that you have experienced feelings of hopelessness, okay, feeling lost, feeling stuck, um, perhaps experiencing these negative feedback loops, or just feeling like, there's, where is there to go? Where's there to turn to? Who is there who's going to protect me? And yeah, we're noticing this in terms of your financial security, your physical security, especially growing up. Now, with that being said, getting older, right? So getting older, growing up, I think you eventually come to this place of like, I'm not going to be beaten down, or I'm not going to be stay down for long, or I am going to rise from this, I'm going to overcome this. And the thing is, of course, as well, is with Pluto, especially, and Black Moon Lilith, there can be layers of this where there's this dominance, there's suppression, there is this pushing down, right? And pushing down of your freedom. pushing down of your beliefs, pushing down of your worldviews. So I think that a big part of even the Pluto transformations for you, again, keep in mind Pluto is one of your chart rulers. I think a big part of your transformations is to do with you coming to a place of, no, this is what I believe. This is what I believe. And sorry, I need to, I don't know. I'm choking up a little bit there, and I don't know if maybe there's something here that's, I don't. Anyway, it's just this energy perhaps is quite intense energy, and I don't know, maybe for you, Natalie, it's been, yeah, it's been very much about you having to reignite this inner warrior. Okay, Mars is also there. So looking at rising up, looking at fighting for yourself, looking at protection, looking at setting up a life for yourself where there is security, where there is a sense of safety there. But then the thing is that if we also throw into this the fourth house, okay, the fourth house has Uranus there. It's got Neptune there. There are these sextiles being created to particular energies in the second house. You've also got the moon in Aquarius. So I would say here that we're noticing just this changeable energy, this lack of stability, having to move around, finding it hard to really connect with in a certain group, or even feeling like an outcast in some ways within your own family, or feeling like someone where just other people don't get. And that could be, yes, okay, related to your family, but perhaps it also could be tied to friends and groups and alliances and teams, right? And what I further want to mention, just following on from this point, you're a Virgo, right? So your sun is in Virgo. It's at the 29th degree, another anaretic degree, and it's in the 11th house, right? The 11th house is that house that's traditionally ruled by Aquarius. So that sun in Virgo, okay, firstly, it's making that in conjunction to the Neptune energy, and then it's also making that sextile to the ascendant. Okay, so I would say here that there's something coming up here to do with you really coming to a place of self-acceptance, and how there was just such an absence. I'm getting this thing of feeling disconnected from the body, or feeling like, you had to mold into other people's versions of you, especially if we think about family stuff, home related stuff, your identity, thinking about that as well. And then going through then these transformations to do with your identity, but doing so in a way where it's almost like you're able to really hold your own. If we think about Virgo, Virgo is that final personal sign, and it is about self-containment. Virgo is very much this sign of like, I am looking within me and I'm trying to improve upon all these little things that maybe are bugging me, or any errors, any flaws. And it's also about being of service, of course, to other people. But Virgo is also of service to itself. If that makes sense to you. It's looking at what can I do to really what can I do to support myself through this moment? So I think that there is this part of you that's really learning a lot about grounding yourself. And maybe these things have come up quite a bit throughout your life, even again with the 29 degree being at the very end. And so maybe you can even showcase these types of service related healing qualities to the world, to other people, even looking at how you can extend your gifts, your gifts of wisdom and healing and depth, right? Scorpio energy is very deep, and introspective and investigative. Virgo is also about, okay, this is about looking at the details here. So that midheaven even being in Virgo in the 11th house, it's like, right, okay, I'm going to use my craft. I'm going to use my skills, the things that I have refined. I'm going to give back, or I'm going to help. I'm going to be of service to other people. But then if we also throw in that moon in Aquarius, that is about the betterment of all. That is about, really feeling this calling to want to support others, especially those who need that support emotionally, looking at that 4th house. But of course, the moon in the 4th house can also suggest that you are a very private person, and that, you're someone who you prefer to really keep a lot of your feelings to yourself until you, of course, feel like, right, I trust in someone else. I feel like I belong here. But going back to that belonging part of it, I do think that it is about belonging for you. I think there's a big message to do with belonging, to do with togetherness. Now, the last thing I just want to further mention is, of course, the North Node and Venus are both in Leo in the 10th house. So that means the South Node is there in Aquarius, conjunct Uranus. So I would finish off by saying in a few short words that I think you're also on this trajectory where it's like, right, you're going to bring your creativity, you're going to bring your passions to the public. Okay, this is about possibly being seen as this quite entertaining or very generous figure amongst the public. But this is a journey. Okay, this is very much about your life path with that North Node, following the North Node. Okay, so Natalie, that was yours. So I hope that was okay for you. Now we have 2 more. So the readings are closed for today, but I just want to say before I move on to the next reading, if you would like me to go live next Friday again, just let me know. If I can get enough people to let me know, about going live next Friday, then I will go live next Friday. Okay. Hello, the creator. Welcome back. And then also Tim, hello to you. And no, we're not taking readings. We're fully booked for this evening. Right. So let's move on then to IKM. And then I just need IKM, are you there? Because I don't actually have your birth information. I do apologize if you already sent it. LKM, sorry. You tried to get your chart read and your chart info. Okay, I see that you've sent the money. Thank you. But I need your birth information. I need your time of birth, your place of birth, and your date of birth. I need all those things in order to do a reading for you. And then the last person I have is Henrik. You know what? We'll do Henrik's first. And then as soon as you can get me your birth information, LKM will do yours, okay? So 14th of June, 1999. Go to other. Henrik. Did you send me your time of birth, Henrik? Do you have that? Are Henrik and LKM still here? Are you here? Let me see. Henrik, 6 p.m. I've got. Sorry, I could only slide. Okay, 6 p.m. 6. And you were born in Brazil. I would love to go to Brazil. Like, you have no idea. I would love to go to Brazil. I would love to go to Brazil. I would go to Peru. I would love to go to Argentina. I would love to do a full tour of South America. I swear I would love it. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Okay. JATAIGOIAS, 6 p.m., 14th of June, 1999. Go. Oh, 6 p.m. Okay. IKM did send. Oh, see, this is the thing. I'm having to go up and down. What would I do without you guys letting me know? Oh, you did. You did indeed. Okay. Well, how about this? LKM. We will save you until last, but best to last, right? I will take down your information right here. Brooklyn. Okay. New York. 12:24 a.m. 11th of February 1983. Got it. See, it just wasn't in the little sticker thing. So there we go. Thank you so much. But yes, you'll be the very last person that we do then. Okay. Thank you so much. And Henrik. Okay. Thank you so much for letting me know, Ramon. Okay, Henrik. I'll just share my screen with you. Let me know as well, Henrik, if this. So the birth location I have for you is, okay, Brazil. And then the spelling, JATAI, and then GOIAS. That's what I have. 6 p.m., 14th of June, 1999. All right. So Henrik, and then LKM, you'll be the very last person. And thank you so much, Natalie. And LKM, I do apologize about that just because I didn't see in the little bar, but you will be last. And as I say, best to last, right? Okay. It's me trying to charm you for my mistake. Okay. Okay. Are you ready, Henrik? Let's go. Henrik, okay, so we're getting a lot of Sagittarius risings today. We're getting a lot of Scorpio risings today. We're noticing a pattern. But anyway, so you have this Sagittarius rising, Henrik. And so in your case, okay, so you are someone who you tend to see the world through this lens of opportunity. Okay, it's about opportunity, it's about experience, it's about expanding your horizons. Let's even think about the part of fortune. Oh, we haven't talked about the part of fortune in any of the readings yet. So the part of fortune is tied to our utmost success. Okay, it's tied to prosperity in a lot of ways, I would say. And so I think that when it comes, also our greatest happiness, right? So I think that when it comes to you, you can showcase this real like successfulness, or feeling really happy whenever you are able to grow. Okay, whenever you can grow, whenever you can expand, whenever you can learn, you're happy, you feel successful, you feel accomplished. There's great prosperity that can come for your ability to really reach out and to even see the bigger picture. Now, with that being said, you also have Pluto retrograde there in the first house in Sagittarius, and then Black Moon Lilith is also there. So this also adds this big layer of intensity when it comes to you, okay? Depth when it comes to you. I think that you're not going to be this typical Sagittarius who just kind of goes, right, okay, we're going, we're going on an adventure and we're packing our bags and we're heading off here, we're hitting the road. I think there can be a lot of, skepticism, caution. Let me just really like assess the situation, and let's come at it from a lens of, is there danger here? Is there anything I need to be aware of here? So I do think that you're going to really see if there's anything that doesn't add up. And I would also say, okay, Black Moon Lilith, I would say that there could have been this real like suppression. Okay, Black Moon Lilith can look at suppression, but it can also look at liberation. It can look at freedom. It can look at independence, but it can look at, okay, suppression of freedom, suppression of having particular beliefs, suppression to do with your world views. Okay, this could have been a situation where it just felt like you couldn't grow, you couldn't like broaden your horizons. Like it's almost this feeling of, having your wings clipped. This is the image that I'm getting in my mind. But of course, with Pluto comes transformation. With Pluto comes resilience. With Black Moon Lilith comes, like I said, independence and liberation. And then these things mixed in together, I see this as you. So when you decide to perhaps go off on your own, or travel, or experience something new, explore unknown territories, when you do these types of things, oh my gosh, you're going to come across as so strong and so powerful. And it's just like all or nothing, it can just be very like heavy. Okay. There's this heaviness, there's this possibly fierceness when it comes to you. And my gosh, when you have an opinion, when you have a belief about something, oh, you could very much just argue your point, defend your point. Okay. Now that is something maybe to be slightly cautious of, because it could very well be that you can come across as quite harsh at times, or as quite cutthroat at times. But at the same time, it could even be that these things come from, or they stem from, a place of like the extremes. And what I mean by this is, if it was, for example, that you didn't get to necessarily share or have certain beliefs about things, then it could be that you then, when you do eventually get to come to this place of sharing, then it can come across as very just powerful. Okay. Now, at the same time, there's also this Juno retrograde energy and this Chiron retrograde energy in Scorpio conjunct Black Moon Lilith. Okay. Both of them are 29 degrees in the 12th house here. This is very heavy energy we're looking at here. This is the type of energy that can react very strongly to anybody who is trying to attack or come at you. Possibly it could be that you take things the wrong way, or it could be that you can see right through a situation. You can see straight through it, and you can just cut to the point and express that point. And when you do, people may not like what you're going to share. Now, we particularly see this when it comes to meaningful relationships. Okay, Juno is tied to meaningful relationships. We're noticing possible wounds to do with intimacy, wounds to do with commitment. We're noticing possible betrayals. We are noticing here secret relationships. We're noticing people not being fully honest, but we're also noticing the growth. Okay, anywhere Scorpio is, right? Yes, okay, there can be the moments of where it's like, right, these emotions are strong. I'm feeling very intensely about this betrayal, or about this letdown, or I'm really struggling through this moment right now. But there can also be this mighty, like this mighty force underneath. There can be this real strength underneath, where you rise up, you overcome, you're able to put yourself first, perhaps, in a lot of ways. Could have been that even examples that you experienced to do with relationships and connection growing up, these examples may not have been the most beneficial, or helpful. But I think that a big part of your spiritual growth, okay, 12th house energy, a big part of your transformations, Scorpio energy, it's to do with really evolving, really learning how to enter relationships, and any types of relationships, in this more healthy way, right? In a way where you can assert yourself, but in a way also where there is this sense of, okay, I understand. And this is the thing too. Mars is one of the dispositors of that Scorpio energy for you. Okay, Chiron and Juno. Mars is in Libra. So there's a lot of stuff here to do with how you can compromise in some ways, how you can relate within friendships, within groups and teams, trying to really learn a lot of valuable lessons to do with, hey, you know what, there's a healthy sense of give and take here. Hey, you know what, I can understand where you're coming from here. Let's talk about this. Let's try to be rational about this. Now, so I do think that you do have this side to your personality, with Mars energy in Libra in the 11th house, where you can be somewhat more cooperative and you want to get along with other people. But still, there is this underneath part of it where there's a lot of intense feelings. So I do think at the same time, you're really learning a lot to do with relationships overall. Now, the thing about this as well that I want to mention, let's throw into the mix Mars making that trine to the sun in Gemini. Okay, so you are a Gemini. So I do think that I think this even just further highlights, how your purpose is very much about, okay, let's connect, or let's try and socialize. Let's see what we can learn from one another. Coming at things from a place of, this is the open dialogue, this is the discussion, this is the exchange. Coming to a place of, clarity, having healthy exchanges with others. Now, what I further want to mention as well, Moon is in Cancer, okay, and then Mercury and Ceres are both in Cancer in the 8th house. Okay, keep in mind that Scorpio rules the 8th house in astrology. Also keep in mind that Mercury is one of your 7th house. So what does this suggest? I think for you, Henrik, my goodness, the lessons that you are coming to learn with respect to emotional security. Okay, looking not only at your own emotional needs, okay, and how intensely, how deeply you feel, but also looking at experiencing intimate relationships where there is that support. There is this sense of, okay, let's really discuss how we're feeling here. And then at the same time, I think there's a lot to be said about being vulnerable. Vulnerability is a big part of the 8th house. So yeah, I feel as if the Scorpio energy mixed in with the Cancer energy, oh my gosh, just what an emotional person you are. And I think there's a big there's a fear of vulnerability here. And maybe those fears of vulnerability stem from the possibility of you being let down so many times in the past. But at the same time, 8th house is also about transformation, okay? Wherever Scorpio is, wherever Pluto is, wherever the 8th house is located, okay, it is about transformation. And so I think a big part of your transformational process is to do with your feelings, is to do with your emotions. So that's us. That's the timer. Let me just stop that. So, Henrik, sorry. Okay, that was yours, Henrik. That was your reading. To be helpful, Henrik, I really do. And so moving on to the final reading, and hello, Casella, welcome. We're moving on to the final reading of this evening. I just want to say thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for booking a reading with me. I hope that you find it to be helpful. Now, again, I do offer much longer readings on my website, on my services. So you can go to hannahselsewhere.com and you can book a reading with me there. It's more detailed, it's more in depth. You can also book consultations with me if you wish. Okay. So 12:24, 12 noon, 12:24, and you were born in New York, Brooklyn. Brooklyn. Let me see. I am going to ask. I don't have any more room. We've been here for about 2 hours now. And this is the last one. But you can we can do this next Friday if you wish. Just let me know. My website is hannahselsewhere.com if you wish to book a full reading with me. The usual readings are 45 minutes long. And so, of course, we can go into much more detail, much more depth. Now, I do have a question for LKM. LKM, are you still there? Are you still with us? And because my question for you is, you're saying that you're born in Brooklyn, New York. So is that Kings County? Does that work for you? And you were born on the 11th of February, 1983. I could just put in New York, New York, because that's what I did last time for someone else who said they were born in Brooklyn. And I'm not sure. Are you still there, LKM? If you're not there, obviously, you can listen to this back. But I'm just not sure about the exact location. Okay. I'm gonna go with New York, New York. Just because that's what happened last time when I asked about Brooklyn. So that's 12:24 a.m. Okay, that's actually a.m. Yeah, 12:24 a.m. 11th of February 1983 in New York. Concrete jungle. LKM. So LKM, if you are listening to this on replays, if you're listening, this is your reading and it'll be here for you, okay? And I put in New York, New York, and I hope that's okay. All right, LKM. Let's start the timer. Okay. So LKM, you have this Scorpio rising. Seriously, we're getting so many Scorpio risings today. We're getting so many Sagittarius risings today. Let's see what we get next time. But yes, you have this Scorpio rising energy, LKM. And so I think that when it comes to you, you are a very deep introspective person. I think that you tend to see the world through this lens of, okay, I need to protect myself. I need to make sure that, how I am is contained. And there is this part of it where, well, you can become this master of sorts when it comes to a particular position. I mean, when it comes to Scorpio energy, it's very much about self mastery. And I also think there's a big part of it where you can master your own emotions, right? Being able to manage your emotions in a way where it's not necessarily about, you know, suppressing them or burying them. Of course, it can be like this with Scorpio energy too. But I think it's getting to a point where you're able to control yourself in this constructive way. And this is especially notable seeing as you have Saturn. So Saturn is there also in Scorpio in your first house. So this only adds to what I'm saying in terms of being able to, okay, you can control your actions, you can control a situation because you're able to manage yourself, you're able to manage your emotions in a way where it's like, I'm not going to let this situation impact me so much. I'm going to make sure that I'm calculating what's going on here. I can calculate my moves. I can be quite cautious about how I'm going to react or about how I'm going to come across. So yeah, I think there's a lot of lessons, right? There's a lot of maturity with regard to these things that I mentioned. LKM, keep in mind that Saturn is there, and yes, you've went through your first Saturn return, and so I think that there is a big part of this where you mature, right? You really mature when it comes to your emotions. And you even mature when it comes to your identity, when it comes to your life path, your aims, your ambitions, and perhaps coming at out the other end of your Saturn return. It could be that you are at this place where it's like, yeah, you have learned so much, you have matured so much. Now, with that in mind, let's also point our attention toward one of the chart rulers of yours. So you have one of the chart rulers, which is Mars. Mars is there in Pisces, and it's also conjunct Venus there in Pisces in the 5th house. So what does this suggest? Well, I think that a big part of your Scorpio journey, so to speak, is tied to your creativity. I think that when you have a hobby that you're really interested in, that you're passionate about, there's no bounds. There is no bounds to the amount of time that you put into it. And I think as well, you lose yourself in that hobby. I think too that perhaps you even can come to a place where you turn your hobby into a way where you can make money from it. You know, you can earn some type of income from that hobby, from that interest, from that form of enjoyment. And the reason for why I say this is because Venus is even making this trine to the ascendant. Okay, 15 degrees, and then the ascendant is 15 degrees. Venus is tied to our resources, our money, our values. Now, with the same token, Venus, of course, yes, it's exalted in Pisces, but it can also look at, okay, so you may earn money or resources from your hobbies, from your talents and your gifts and your skills and everything. But it could also be where you're very generous with it. You're also willing to give it away just as much. Or maybe it's like you don't necessarily have to work for any income or any reward, so to speak. I think you could, of course, do that, right? But I think the intention always is like, this is what I love. This is what I love. And I think when you come at things, even with that intention, okay, when you come at things with the intention of, yeah, this is what I love to do, I'm going with the flow, I'm just enjoying the moment, somehow things just seem to come back, right? You know, with the Pisces energy, I think a big part of the reason for why Venus is exalted in Pisces is because it's like, perhaps you understand that process of just like being so in the flow, so in the moment, and just trusting that the resources are going to come, trusting that you're going to have enough, trusting that you will be supported. Now, at the same time, this is where we got to look at other parts of the chart. There are these squares. Okay, so for example, Venus is well, okay, the orb is it's quite wide. It is quite wide. Okay, so there is the Venus square Uranus. Now, even if we were to look at it as Uranus being in the 2nd house, just in general, and also Neptune being in the 2nd house, keep in mind that Neptune is one of the dispositors of your Pisces energy. I would say here that, yeah, things could be very sudden. Let's just say that. Suddenly you could land on so much money, right? Even Sagittarius, like big gains or fortune or luck or feeling like, you know, you've really being rewarded for something, and it's just it's an opportunity that was unplanned for. Okay, so yeah, I think that this could be where you fall into a lot of money or many earnings, etc., but then just as much it could be where it's like, oh, suddenly this is all falling apart, or suddenly I don't have this security. So maybe there can be a lack of that stability there. But let's also think about how Jupiter is there too. So Jupiter is there conjunct Uranus, and this can look at, okay, expanding all of this stuff where it's chaotic, it's confusing. It's like, oh my gosh, okay, this is happening now. And then, oh my gosh, okay, we're going in a different direction now with respect to your resources and your finances. Even looking at these sparks of inspiration, right? You just get these hits of insight, these hits of inspiration. There's just a lot of this erratic energy, I think, in general when it comes to LKM, and maybe you like a little bit of that. You know, it's you like the the parts of your personality that is so unexpected and unpredictable, and there is this part of it where you are more focused upon your freedom and not being so tied to something or so heavily committed to something. Now, with the same token, you do have your Mercury in Capricorn. So I do think that, okay, intellectually, analytically, you do like to kind of see, right, okay, this is the step-by-step process. Mercury's also there in the 3rd house. So even if things do become quite unpredictable and unstable, you're still going to use your mind to really think about, okay, what's the solution? Okay, what's the next step? Okay, well, that has happened. Well, this is what I'm going to do now, etc., etc. Now, of course, at the same time, you're in Aquarius, okay, and your moon is also in Aquarius. My goodness, LKM, you just have this general personality that is highly unpredictable, but at the same time, whenever your heart is set on something, whenever you feel like a calling, right? Thinking about your soul, even tied to the moon, even thinking about your emotions tied to the moon, when your heart is in something, you can be so committed and so loyal and so faithful to that thing. And then it could just get to a point where it's like, okay, well, that's not what I'm doing anymore. And I'm trying this other thing. And the the loyalty that I'm talking about is especially showing up here when it comes to matters of home and family and property and housing. And so, yeah, I do think that for you, there's a big part of your personality that likes to feel, this sense of security and having that solid foundation. But then just as much emotionally, you may need just to be able to break free or to break away from something that isn't serving you anymore, or to be able to head off in a new direction. And maybe you are someone who very much, you march to the beat of your own drum, okay, being an Aquarius. And then also I would say here with Juno being in Aquarius, when it comes to forming those meaningful bonds, those meaningful relationships, I do think, yes, there is a part of it where you can be very committed and loyal and faithful, but I think friendship is important to you. I think, again, your independence and having your space. Yeah, space and independence, very important to you as well. And then when you do feel like there is plenty of space, etc., I think that you're going to be more, I don't know, I feel like you're just going to be more connected, even on an emotional level, with somebody else, even looking at family members there as well. Okay, so that was yours. Stop sharing the screen. That was yours, LKM. Okay, so I didn't get LKM. Just to say here again, just to clarify that was your reading. And I hope that you find it to be useful and helpful. If you're watching this, perhaps then at a later stage, let me know how you find it. But overall, that's everything. That is this session of live readings. Again, let me know if you would like me to do another session. I could go next Friday. I could do next Friday if you wish. If I get enough people maybe commenting and expressing their interest, let me know. But that is everything. And I just want to take the time to thank you all so much for being here. I'm like losing my voice right now. This is why there needs to be a cutoff period. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you all so much for being here. I really do appreciate you booking these readings with me. It's been fun. I enjoy these. I just find them to be just enjoyable in that I can really just go to where I'm being called to, and I can speak on things in perhaps more of a quick way, because I want to try and get as many connections as possible. But again, as I say, you can go to my website, hannahselsewhere.com. There you can find all of my services. I have general chart readings, which are 45 minutes long. I also have a full chart reading, which is 3 hours long, where it's like head to toe everything, even thinking about your asteroids there, the part of fortune, Black Moon, Lilith. Also, I have solar return readings, Saturn return readings, composite chart readings, synastry readings, so looking at compatibility, relationships there. But overall, I just want to say thank you all so much once again. I appreciate you so much. And yeah, I will definitely be back with another live stream, live readings very soon. I'll be back with more videos, and it has been so fun today. And just overall, for those of you who I did readings for, thank you so much for purchasing tonight. And you know what? Overall, I hope you find them to be helpful. That's really important to me, that you find them to be helpful, useful, that I was able to perhaps even hit on emotional things, to touch on those emotional things. I think looking at the emotional states of life is important. So anyways, that is me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And of course, I will be back with another video very, very soon. And make sure you like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And have an awesome weekend. Okay? Have a great weekend, everyone. And I'll be back very, very soon. Bye.